Good afternoon and welcome to BOTAS 2019. I am Peter.
Ladies and gentlemen, and both and neither, hello, how are you doing
So today we are here and we're going to be watching a match between Vermont, ranked number 9 in this tournament, against number 13 Kansas. Neither team has played yet in this tournament.
Okay, I can now hear myself. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I am Muffin Tumble. I hail from Texas here, and we're really excited as we are about to begin game number 5.
So we're going to quickly run down some of the rosters here. I'm going to go for Vermont. Number 1,000 is Felon of Troy, wearing the C today. Number 111, Schemstress. Number 13, a personal favorite of mine, Pumpkin Carver. Number 1313 is Flutter Rage. Number 19, Beast Infection. Number 2, Bruce Ventuna. Number 20, Sarah Quill XR. Number 24, Sabotage Shabal. 2400, Midnight Crusher. 31, Velocity Raptor. Number 32, Curb Stomp. Number 369, Snatch McCracken. Number 4, Ivory Tower. Number 44, Cryptip Kablam. Number 45, Black Mamba. Number 528, Ginger Vitus. Number 717, Bertha Blue Blazes. Number 8, the Jessicutioner. And number 887, Clitorisk.
Okay, and in white is Kansas, coming in at number 13. Number 0, Clitterbomb. 3, Dizzy Aster. 7, Jams Bond. Number 11, Dogpile. 13, Gotcha Eye. 26, Shutter Speed. 28, Sing. 48, No Class Last. 79, Van Pounder. 86, Black Mamba. 87, Skella. 187, Sweet Assassin. 316, Ginger Ninja. 403, Troubleshooter. 420, Mary Payne. 678, Triple B. 777, No El Paso. And 123, Scarlet Oscariad. Oh, I finished that just in time.
Thank you for watching. This is game number 5 of the day. We just saw California take on Louisiana and beat them 187-56 in our previous game. And we are underway.
Oh, man, that was good.
And that is 07, Jams Bond, the first lead gem of this game for Kansas.
And jamming is Bertha Blue Blazes for Vermont, as she does get through for her initial pass.
James Bond already round again on halfway through a scoring pass at turn number 2, and halfway calling off the gem. Yes, she did call it. They let her call it off for that one swing of hands to her hips. So the first points on the board, 2 points for Kansas, 0 for Vermont.
And of course, again, I am Peter. I am traveled with the Vermont team down here. Interesting trip, but we made it. It's a little icy out there, but I'm glad everyone made it safe.
So glad you guys made it. And I even asked, is Pumpkin Carver related to you? And yes, indeed, they are partners. Very, very, I love partners in Derby, sharing in the support and love of the sport. Oh, Kansas, 2 for 2, lead jammer status for them.
Right behind Sabotage Sabal, and that's going to force the call off, a 0-0 jam.
No points scored.
Again, we're playing 20-minute halves in this tournament format. Teams will get 1 official review for the whole game, they cannot retain that official review. On the line for Vermont is Curb Stomp, and once I can see her, I will tell you who's out there for Kansas.
Yes, we have a great view of this game, but we are in front of the jammers, so it's hard to tell who they are until we get to know them. That is Dizzy Aster jamming for Kansas, getting reset all just beyond the jam line.
Kansas doing a good job up front against Curb Stomp, and they do force her out. Snatch McCratchen going to the box for Vermont.
Dizzy Aster is out, and your lead jammer, that is 3 lead jams in a row for Kansas.
Dizzy Aster coming around looking to score points, finds a hole on the inside.
Oof.
A rough pack here for Curb Stomp, having a little bit of trouble. Kansas doing a very good job up front. Looks to be Black Mamba up there doing most of the damage for Kansas against her.
Susie Astor tapped out of bounds at turn number 3, getting reset, but she is currently on her second scoring pass, but getting reset all the way to turn number 2. First star pass of the game.
First star pass goes to, I believe that is Velocity Raptor. Nope, sorry, that was Flutter Rage skating, I believe, around that track just to force her to call it off. Force points for Kansas All-Stars here. That was our third jam, working on our fourth. Sabotage Sabal jamming for Vermont.
5-on-5 playing right now. Black Mamba up front against a strong four-wall. Fellow Detroit getting out there trying to play some offense and break things up for her.
That is Mary Payne jamming for Kansas. And Sabal, good job to stop and move. But it's going to just enough defense from Kansas. But no, they gave lead to Sabal.
And she called it before Mary Payne could score any points. So the score will hold at 0-6 in favor of Kansas.
Now, I haven't seen much of this Kansas team recently, but when I did see them, they always seem to be well organized. Vermont, they like to play that defensive game. They like to force the jammer into an area and just try to hold them as long as they can.
Well, defensive games are always very exciting. Defense wins games, but that's James Bond again, 2 for 2, 100% lead jammer status for her as she takes lead jam for Kansas.
Bertha Blue Blazes out there for Vermont makes it through, but she's going to get sent to the penalty box for a track cut.
Bertha Blue Blazes off to the
Pumpkin Carver going to the penalty box for Vermont as well. For Vermont, and number 11 on Kansas Dogpile going in. Jams Bond reaching the back of the pack again. And she's going through to pick up 4 points.
Yeah, 4-2 pack advantage for Kansas and power jam advantage for Kansas as well. And more penalty trouble for those Vermont ladies, those Vermont skaters, and another 4 points for James Bond.
That was Jessica Kushner going in there, but they've got 2 up in the box. Pumpkin Carver back on the track for Vermont. Dogpile for Kansas as James Bond makes through for another pass of 4 points. Midnight Crusher going to the penalty box for Vermont. James Bond.
Beautiful skating by James Bond on 2 skates all the way up around on the curve of turn number 2 and all the way through for 4 more points. She's already back around again. Looking through and taking the outside again. Spinning to win. Woo! Blocking her way through the pack. And spinning around again for another pass.
Boy, not very long at all.
Penalty trouble in this jam for Vermont. They've been recycling people in and out of the penalty box. Midnight Crusher back.
Yep, that's 24 points and counting for James Bond so far this jam. So definitely the highest scoring jam of this game. And there she goes, another pass. 4 more points. That is a 28-point jam.
There was a star pass at the end of that, but it is a moot point because
James Bond had one quick jam.
Bond quicked it.
James Bond winding up a big one.
Ooh, make that 34. Wow.
James Bond, 28 points total in that jam. Just Vermont had nothing to be able to stop her. Klitterbomb on the line for Kansas.
They're setting up, trying to lock up Klitterbomb, and so far that's been successful.
And that is Sabotage with Sabal, and she is through for lead. I believe that is only the second lead Vermont's had. She's got them both. Coming around through for a scoring pass. The first one, she's going to pick up 3 of those points. And she fell down but gets through for the 4 points. Vermont playing the long point here. They've got 5-4 is what they put on the board so far. Good spin move on the right before turn 1 for Sabal. She gets through, but Klitterbaum makes it through as well.
Klitterbaum still out there matching 4 on that last pass.
We are back to full Derby strength as all teams are back.
Sabotage Shabal calling up the jam just in time. Klitterbaum.
But she might have picked up 1 on that
she
last
did.
jam.
She did.
0 point on that as both teams pick up 9.
So a wash on that jam, 9-9, but Vermont gets on the board. That could hopefully, for the Vermont fans, get them going.
If you're hungry, go get a slice. And then the Plum Pit food truck will be here at 4 p.m. So if you're getting hungry, go get some pizza over at the merchandise table.
All right, on the line, we got number 32. That's Curb Stomp.
And we have Dizzy Astor up there as well for Kansas.
Curb stomp out there for Vermont. Dizzy Astor for Kansas. Curb stomp finds a hole to the outside and gets through for the lead.
There's that momentum for those Vermont fans out there. That's 3 of the 4 past jams. Lead jammer status given to the green team at Vermont.
Kansas still shorthanded for the moment on the defensive side. They've got 1 in the box. Curb stomp trying to call it off before any points are scored. I don't think she quite got there. A 2-0 jam for Kansas.
And it looks like they took away 1 point from that last jam. Only 8 points for Vermont from the previous jam.
Great job snaking away those 2 points by Kansas at the very end. 8-45 with just under 11 left to play.
Looks like we're at about 4
The score now 8-45.
Way to start the next jam.
That's Black Mamba
In favor of Kansas still. Black Mamba.
We got 2 Black Mambas in this game.
Oh,
1 for each team.
Okay, that's why I was confused. I was like, wait, Black Mamba.
And they are both on the track right now for Vermont jamming, for Kansas blocking.
So that's Mary Payne jamming in white for Kansas.
Yeah, a little confusing there.
There are going to be 2 freight trains in this tournament. One we all know from Texas, and the other one is freight spelled with an 8, who is from, I believe, Saskatchewan.
Black Mamba for Vermont. Stashed it and now passed it. That star.
That is the second star pass for Vermont.
That is to Ginger Vitus. And quickly, as she does get through the pack, it's a 7-0 scoring jam for Kansas. We are just over halfway through this first period. We want to thank Spank Alley, the only fully adjustable roller derby armbands on the market. They also ship worldwide. Check them out at www.spankalley.com.au.
Don't forget that AU. Here we go for jam number 9.
Bertha Blue Blazes on the line for Vermont, and it looks like
James Bond jamming again. And James Bond is again the lead jammer for Kansas. She is at 100% lead jammer. She's 3 for 3 so far this game.
Bertha Blue Blazes is through, but meanwhile, James Bond is back to the pack and through for a full scoring pass.
And so casually, she calls off the jam.
It's like, I'm just going to let it go. I think I'm all right.
So hitting it and quitting it, 4 more points for Kansas, taking them to 56.
It seems like a strategy that's come back to roller derby. It used to be they like to play the long points, and now it's as soon as they get those points, they're done.
Yep. Yes, and I do actually miss that jammer point already. But yes, the score goes a little bit slower, only 4 points per pass, but it's still very exciting.
They're 1-1 right now in the jams.
I have been calling it a grand slim when they get 4 points instead of 5 on that pass.
Sabotage Shabal in for Vermont.
And
but
Klitterbaum through again. Klitterbaum is your lead jammer for Kansas. That's 3 lead jams in a row.
Yeah, just trying to keep that pack separated.
Schemes just for the Vermont defense, trying to control things as the driver.
Out front there controlling it. She got in there, but only for a single point as Vermont pours.
So just 1 point going to Kansas All-Stars, but they do have a 57-8 lead with 8 minutes left here in this first half. So quick jams. The last game, the first half only had 15 jams. We have 8 minutes left in this, and we've already had 10.
Well, these 40-minute games sure do go fast, and it reminds me of the old days when we had 2 20-minute jams. At one time, there was actually 3 periods of 20 minutes way back when in the old days. And
It
I
does
am
a-
shaking my cane right now.
It must have been a little before me. I remember the
Yeah.
pivot line starts and those kind of things, the kneeling down.
Yeah.
But way past from that now.
I think somebody had the door open. Yeah, delay of game for the door.
So
being
a
open. It's gonna
delay
cause
of
a jam
game
for
call
safety reasons.
is assessed to Vermont, which is going to, I believe, send the captain to the box.
Yep, the captain will take a penalty for that, so they're going to lose a skater on the track. Unless the captain's already out there, they will have to go to the penalty box.
So the team pivot,
So
I
Felon of
believe,
Troy will go
was
sit down
penalty.
in the penalty box for those 30 seconds.
Well, maybe it was the team captain. One way or the other, Vermont is down a skater.
They may be adjusting the time here as they had called an official timeout
All right, now
to make sure that they could actually get the door closed.
So quickly, this timeout is brought to you by 888. Derby isn't your typical sport. It's more like a carefully choreographed mosh pit on wheels. That's why we make protective gear specifically designed for those who lay it out there on the track. We cover heads, elbows, wrists, knees, hips, and yes, even butts. Because being Derby ready is one thing, but being Derby dominant is another. Check them out at their website, www.888.com. That is 888.com. And also find them on Instagram, 888.
Okay, boy, that's a rough break for Vermont there. A track cut being called on the aborted jam.
So we have a
before the
delayed
game's called.
power start
The jam
given
is called
to
for delayed
Kansas. So
So
that
So we have a
means
power jam
So they started that
for
jam, and it looked like they're giving
Dizzy
Curb Stomp
Asher,
a
like
cut
how
call.
things are working out, how to get through the last jam. Now it's a great opportunity here. Delayed offense coming from Kansas.
She's got one to go. That was
Charging forward and busting up those green mountains.
Dizzy Astor back on the jam line.
Dizzy Astor. She does go out and gets pulled back just a little bit.
Where to jump in.
We have a skater down for Kansas. I'm not sure if it's an equipment malfunction, but she's sitting on the outside of the crash zone. Play goes on as
Kill off some more jam time. Wait
as
for that
Clitterbomb
jam to get released.
gets no, that's not Clitterbomb. That is
Dizzy Astor.
Dizzy
takes jammer
Astor.
status. So yes, by that down skater pulling herself off the
Dizzy
track,
Astor
that
jumps into the
prevents
back
a
now,
clock
looking to score
stoppage.
points.
So she's going to let her team continue to play and dominate this
And
jam.
that's the initial pass there by
Curb Stomp has made her initial pass through, and Dizzy Astor is going to call it just as that happens.
4 points on a power jam.
That's definitely a win for Vermont, holding the
So 4 quick points for
Great job with
Kansas.
that knockoff
We have
play.
Vermont
Solid
holding at
defense,
8
even down to the
points.
stretch, getting the jammer release.
We have 6.5 minutes left in this first period.
All right, number 45, that's Sabotage. I'm sorry, that's Black Mamba coming from Hartford area roller derby.
Taking on Mary Payne,
Yeah, we will have an official timeout here
Kansas.
as they tend to the skater on the track.
So this timeout is brought to you by Spank Alley, the only fully adjustable roller derby armbands on the market. They also ship worldwide. Check them out at www.spankalley.com.au, and we've given them 2 props. Thank you,
Hold
Spank
and
Alley.
recover, refuel, and repair.
We'd also like to thank our tournament organizer and founder of Battle of the All-Stars,
So stay tuned. We have
Vanessa
about 6
Seitz,
minutes and
also
20
known
seconds
as
here
V-Diva.
going in the first half. Stay tuned. After this, we're going to have Team Maryland, the number 7 seed, taking on Tennessee, who we saw earlier today.
So don't
who
forget
win
that
against
there
Kentucky,
is
the number
there are
11
games
seed.
going on all weekend. It is a true tournament style. Win, you move on. Lose, you go to the losers bracket. Of course, the winner of this game will take on Massachusetts at 7 o'clock. So either way, they're going to have a little short rest, basically a game in between.
Yep, and next up, 4:30 Eastern Time is Maryland versus Tennessee. Tennessee got there by beating Kentucky earlier today.
Buxmont is selling pizza over at the Merchandise
And then the
table.
last
If you're
game of the
getting
day
hungry,
is
go grab a
Pennsylvania.
slice.
They will face off
The
with
Plum Pit food
California.
truck will be
And that
here
is at
4
9 p.m. Eastern
That'll
Time.
be about 40 minutes or so. So if you're getting
Of course,
hungry,
Pennsylvania ranked number 4 coming into this tournament. California number 8. But California was on fire last game. They had some very big jams. They did a lot of hit it and quit it kind of jams, get those quick points. They did a lot of 3-point jams that we were noticing from the
we
sidelines.
will make sure to pass that on if we get the
That was a good game. And Louisiana had a win this morning. So they have 1 win and 1 loss for the day so far. So they have now moved themselves to the non-winners bracket.
Feeling a mighty thirst.
That sounds better than the other way.
I just saw someone making fun of that on Twitter earlier. By the way, if you're on Twitter, we're listening, we're reading. It's hashtag BOTAS 2019. If you have something to say or ask, we're here for you. But briefly, we do want to talk about No Class Last. She plays for Kansas last year. She was injured and was on team announcer. And so we love someone that has multi-talented. She skates, she talks, and she also wants to say a very big hello to Public Enemy, her partner in crime, and also the assistant coach who could not make it today. So hello, Public Enemy, and thank you to No Class Last. And so that down skater, it looks like she is actually seriously hurt. That is number 1233. Scarlett Oscaria.
Yeah, it looked like she hurt her left ankle, kind of holding that. That's the one they looked at when they first went over there. But she is walking on it, so that is a good sign. But skates are off.
Yeah.
So I believe was she their captain as well? She had a C on her armband. I don't know if she's the captain today.
She had a C on her arm. That would mean yes, but according to this list, it does not say.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are just waiting on.
But we're just waiting on to make sure everyone is in a safe spot now that she's been able to be moved off of the track. Good to see her on her own, moving on her own though.
Definitely.
Able to get up and come off the track. We're glad to see that. Once the referees are ready to get things back underway, we'll get things started with 6:18 to go here in the first half.
So we're still about 6:18 here. Kansas holding the lead, 61-8 over Vermont. Vermont is the higher seed coming in.
So we've had one upset already. Earlier today, it was Montana. They won their game earlier today, and they came in, I believe,
They came in 14th.
Yeah.
And they won 122-75 over Ohio in game 2 this morning. So we could be in a position for another kind of upset here, but we are still early.
We are still early. Oh, and I'm going to go to Twitter. Let's see what's going on.
So it looks like we're pretty close to coming back. The rolling whistle is about to be blown. There it is. Just waiting on the 5-second call. Looks to be.
Tough for Kansas, already down some personnel here.
Oh, yeah, my name is BOTS. It already says Kansas up early and looking like they are going to pull off the second upset of the weekend. Hey, I just said that.
Skip it to the inside. No,
okay. Mary Payne out, and she has already been declared lead jammer. That's 5 lead jams in a row for Kansas. Kansas really on a roll.
Vermont's Black Mamba has the star stash now. She started out on the line as the jammer for the Vermont team. Trying to find the pivot to pass it to. That is Seroquel XR, as she gets through. No, sorry, that is Midnight Crasher wearing that. They've got a little 00 numbers on Vermont.
Credited to Vermont there, so Black Mamba
And
is headed off to the box, and we have a star pass to
Okay.
2400. That's Midnight Crasher.
Sorry, I'm listening to the House Announcer, and I'm very confused. But anyway, that was a quick jam. It is called.
Star pass able to get that jam to come to conclusion.
It's to be an 8-point jam for Kansas in that 0 for Vermont.
So Vermont holding at 8, 69 points for Kansas. We have a 4-3 pack advantage for Kansas as well.
First time for Kansas.
Schemstress, Snatch McCracken, and number 31 Velocity Raptor out there for the blockers for Vermont. Bertha Blue Blazes trying to find a hole through. She's got one through, and she gets through as the lead, and a forearm called on the jammer for Kansas. Power jam for Vermont. A good chance to get back into this game. That was Triple B going to the box.
So that is the first power jam for Vermont of this game.
And they are now back at full strength defensively as Bertha gets through and picks up the first 4 points of this jam.
I love that both of these jammers, okay, the jammer for Kansas is Triple B, but technically the Vermont blocker is Triple B, Bertha.
A lot of weird things like that today. 2 Black Mambas, 2 Triple Bs.
Bertha Blue Blazes. That's really fun to say. Because Bertha Blue Blazes through the track. She's tapped out at turn number 1. She's getting reset. Triple B, the power jam is over. She will be through on her initial pass as the jam is called. 4 more points for Vermont.
Yep, they're going to give all 4 to her. So she's got 8 on the board. Kansas, the penalty box is getting a little blocked up there. They've got 2 blockers in, 1 standing, 1 waiting to go in.
Oh, yeah, this is really time for Vermont to take advantage of this.
This is a big chance for them as they're going to send out Sabotage Sabal.
Oh, and it was actually 8 points from that last jam, so it's 16 points for Vermont.
Correct, 69-16 is the score as we start this jam. And Sabal makes it through. Yes, this is a lead jammer just after turn 1.
Shutter speed did best can to slow down Sable, but unfortunately only 1 blocker makes it a little difficult.
And Klitterbaum out there makes it through.
Able to stay in bounds.
Klitterbaum already
Sable.
back around, hitting the back of the pack.
Sable coming around for her second scoring pass. Both defenders in the Kansas box are up, but they're going to swap out 2 for 1. And Sabal makes it through for 4 more points. A good last couple jams for Vermont here, just what they needed. Just a little hammering around on there on the defensive side. And Sable gets through for another 4.
Yeah, she's on a roll.
That was a good job blocking up front from the Vermont defense.
We have a star pass for Kansas, their first star pass of this game.
It goes to No El Paso. Sabal picks up 4 more.
And a star pass to No El Paso.
That's a really cute name. Her name is probably Noelle, but I'm from El Paso, so I don't know. I already like her. She's through for 4 points. No El Paso getting through the pass. Sable for another scoring pass.
Looks like they're trying to play a little bit of a long strategy here, try to get some of those points back, knowing that they will win the jam either way.
Yep, 20 points and counting for Sable.
Sable gets knocked out. Oh.
As Sable ends the run at, looks like she's going to get 21
Noel
points
Paso
on that
picks
jam.
up 1 point on that last pass, as well as Vermont, so it's a 21-5 jam in favor of Vermont. 74-37, 1:38 left in this first half. Both teams back to full strength.
And Sabotage Sable with the highest scoring jam of this game, 21 points. Taking a big chunk out of that lead, where now the score is just doubled by Kansas.
And these two have faced
Just what they needed. Sorry.
Yep, no, you're good. Curb stomp on the line for Vermont. Ooh, gets pushed out by number 403. That is Troubleshooter. A star stash from Curb Stomp. She gets nailed out of bounds by Kansas's Black Mamba.
Huge hit by Black Mamba there.
But Dizzy Astor already through, lead jammer and already through for 4 points.
Now holding that outside line, Black Mamba.
Curb Stomp. Looks like she got hit up near the head. No call made as Black Mamba regroups with her other jam blockers.
Number 32 Curb Stomp. Meanwhile,
Kirby goes down after she made it through the pack, and now is going to have to face them again.
It was really pretty. She worked really hard, got through, and just got foiled at the front of the pack.
Midnight Crasher back on the track for Vermont.
And he's going to call that off there. Final damage, 12 points for Kansas.
12 more points for Kansas, taking them up to 86. 37 points for Kansas. 35 seconds left on the game clock. Actually, 13 seconds on the game clock.
Looks like it's going to be awful close if this one's going to be let go through. I think the period clock's going to run out before the jam starts.
Ooh, and it just did. Yep.
It was about a 2-second difference from what I noticed there. So a good first half, really quick, really well played. 86-37 is the score at the half in favor of the number 13 ranked Kansas All-Stars over the number 9 ranked Vermont.
21 of those points in a single game.
So we'll have a short 10-minute intermission, and we'll be right back here.
All right, we'll get back at
Thank you
here
for
about
joining
5
us,
minutes or so.
and we'll be back for some more Derby. Welcome back. We're about to start the second half of Game 5 of Battle of the All-Stars 2019 in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. When we last left you, Vermont was losing 37-86 to Kansas. And there was a whole lot of action. High scores for each team. Sabotage Sabal is a high score for Vermont, and James Bond doing a great job. She is the high scorer because she had that 28-point jam, so that really put her in the lead. But close second to her is going to be Dizzy Astor.
Yeah, Dizzy Astor doing some really good work near the end of the half there. Jams did most of her damage at the beginning part of the half. Vermont, we're down quite a bit there to start, and then they had 2 jams in a row where they scored, I think it was close to 35 points in those 2 jams. I know Sabal had a really, really high jam, I think about 21 points, which of course is their high single jam score of the game so far.
Yep. So, ooh, look, we're at the pivot line. They're so close to us. Oh, they're just kidding. They're going back to the jam line.
I thought it was exciting again. So Birthday Blue Blazes out there on the line for Vermont. Again, I am Peter calling this game.
And I am Muffin Tumble, and we're very happy to be here.
We'll be here all weekend. At least I know I will be.
Yes.
In one form or another.
Yes, alive or dead, 4 full days of roller derby action.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I'm so happy to be here. Look at James Bone, ooh, preventing a track cut, but it's already declared lead jammer. She's doing safety first. She's going to reset behind everyone, but she has already been declared lead jammer.
Ooh, good job there from Pumpkin Carve, her and Ivory Tower earlier than that to just hit them out.
Oh, yeah.
Bertha Blue Blazes trying to fight with the last 2. Looks like it's close out of play, and she does get through.
James Bond hitting that 4-wall of green at the back of the pack. Halfway through. Ooh, little tumble at turn 3 as she calls off the jam.
A little rough there. We're going to have one play from each team going to the penalty box. Ivory Tower for Vermont. And it looks to be number 316, Jinja Ninja, going to the box for Kansas. So even on the track, of course, 2 in the box. Sable going for Vermont off the jam line. Tiptoes on the inside and finds her way through for the lead jam, but right behind her is that. Look, No Class Lass.
Oh, from team announcer from last year. First time jamming today for Kansas.
She's really fast out there.
She is. Oh, but look at, ooh. Uh-oh. Okay, the pivot for Kansas, no El Paso going to the penalty box.
A Midnight Crasher going to the box for
Oh, sorry, that
Vermont.
was Midnight Crasher.
Yep.
And the jam is called.
A 4-3 jam. Vermont sneaks in 3 points at the end there. Well done. 4-4, they're going to call it a wash. 4-4 jam. Good job from Vermont to sneak those points in right at the end.
Yeah, that was Sabotage the Ball doing her thing.
Dizzy Astor on the line for the Kansas All-Stars, and it looks to be 32 curb stomp out there for Vermont. Pumpkin Carver trying to work on the front there, knocks Dizzy Astor out, but she hops right back in. Had to let her go. Curb stomp just levels Black Mamba, taking a little bit of revenge from one of the last jams, but Mamba had her number.
So curb stomp is out on our initial pass, but lead jammer status has been given to Dizzy Astor. Jam is called.
A good job there from Pumpkin to knock her out and force a 0-0 jam.
That may be our first scoreless jam of this game. I think it is. No, it is our second one. Okay, so now Kansas trying to take the front of the pack, so they're switching things up a little bit. But 41-94.
They still do have the pack advantage to start this out, as Midnight Crasher is up in the box but not quite ready to come in yet. Sable back jamming for Vermont. Pile up right before the pivot line, and the jammer, Mary Payne, getting through for Kansas. Sable through now, too, about a half track behind. She knocked her own player down, but she's going to pick up the points, and 3 of them scored. It looked like number 31 for Vermont, Velocity Raptor, was able to sneak out in front before she got past.
Yeah, that was troubleshooter, taking one for the team, doing a little offense, and then going down. But she did get her those 3 points, 41-97 in favor of Kansas.
That smile on her face says, I'm okay with it.
Right, I did my job.
Yeah.
So now we're changing it up again. Everybody jumbled up at the pivot line. Kansas takes the front. Looks like James Bond jamming again.
Yeah, both teams start out with what I like to call the triangle with a dangle. That is number 528 Gingivitis out there jamming for Vermont, and James Bond for Kansas. And she's going to get called for a penalty, a multiplayer block. As a jammer, doesn't happen often, but it did happen here. And they also have another blocker going into the penalty box.
That is only the 2nd power jam for Vermont this game.
And they have the lead jam here as Gingivitis gets through for her lead. The Kansas box getting a little full over there. 2 blockers and a jammer at the moment.
Yeah, Gingivitis taking advantage of all these advantages. Power jam, 4-2 pack advantage, and lead jammer status. So if she goes halfway through the pack, I can tell you this because we're on the stream, the power jam is over. Penalty box is almost clear as the jam is called. We'll have a 4-3 pack advantage to this next jam with Vermont. 4-3 pack advantage.
So Vermont picks up 3 more points on that pass, a 7-point, 97-48 the score with 14:40 to go in this second half. Vermont slightly closing that gap in the last little bit here. We see some bigger hits here in the beginning part of this second half than we did in the first, from both sides.
Definitely. Kansas has only scored 11 points this half. So definitely slowed down on the scoring for Kansas.
Vermont's triple bleed, Bertha Blue Blazes out there, but that is number 48. No class last out for the lead for Kansas. Bertha still trying to find a way through.
No class last. Already about, look at that, beautifully on her tippy toes, staying in bounds, quickly through the whole pack at turn number 2. 4 more points for Kansas.
And you can see how important it is that you be able to do all those kind of stops, because that was kind of a modified hockey stop as she was able to slide by.
And then a little matrix moves, back on her feet. Ooh, star pass for Vermont to number 8. Uh-oh. Star pass and penalty, so power jam, lead jam for Kansas.
That is the Jessicutioner going to the box.
First star pass of this half for Vermont, and the 3rd one of this game for them.
No class last is going to call it there and freeze the jammer for Vermont in the penalty box. She is still sitting, so she's got a little bit of time left. Again to the penalty box for Kansas. It looks like she picked up her 4th, was number 11, Dogpile.
13 minutes ago here in the game.
Full complement of blockers for Vermont to see if they can stop James Bond.
Only the 2nd power jam for Kansas.
Good job from Pumpkin Carver to hit her out. Looks like she got called, and she did. She ended up getting James Bond called for a cut track. That means the Jessicutioner can come in, and even though she started in the penalty box, she can get the lead jam here. She's going to go the long way to gain some speed. Of course, she did receive the star pass in that last jam, but good job to go to the outside of turn 4 and get through.
I think jams have been declared lead jammer, but I may be mistaken because now Jessicutioner is being declared lead jammer.
So I think they were going to, and then they called her for that track cut. So they didn't call it to her.
It was
of course,
right before.
Yep, Pumpkin Carver knocked her out and got called out for a penalty as well.
Thank you for clarifying. I did miss that.
Black Mamba to the penalty box as a blocker for Kansas, as Jams has made it through on a pass, but the Jessicutioner for Vermont as a jammer to the penalty box.
So both these teams taking turns of power jams. That was the quickest penalty ever by James Bond, but she's out and through the pack.
So this will go the rest of the 2 minutes. It is a 45-second slush. We'll see what they can do, both grabbing 4-point scoring passes there.
James Bond, she made that pass look easy, but she did have a little work at the back of the pack, cut through that wide open inside lane at turn number 4.
Jessica Kushner has picked up a couple points here, trying to pick up all 4, trying to get help from curb stomp, and she does as she drops troubleshooter, pushes her to the outside.
Vermont defense just spread out all over the track and making it very easy for James Bond to get through.
And she is going to get called.
Oh, forearm
for
penalty.
A forearm as she knocked Felon of Troy down the second.
Wow. So that's 3 penalties. James Bond has 3 penalties in the last 4 jams, so 3 power jams, all for James Bond. So she will start this next jam from the penalty box. It will be a power start for Vermont.
So in that jam, 11-8 in favor of Kansas. The score 117-56. Here in the first half, we have official timeout. Let's take that as well. This timeout brought to you by Stakeware. Protect yourself from impact. Contact wear for full contact and action sports. Check them out at stakeware.com.
I feel like there should be an inappropriate joke in there. We'll just let it go. We'll let that one go.
So the Kansas coach out there just kind of eavesdropping on the conversation between the refs. Of course, he's not in the middle of them, so they're not really worried too much about it. But Vermont's going to start this next jam fully loaded, so to speak. Everyone on the track while Kansas sets a jammer and a blocker.
Make sure you post all your comments and things that are going on, the excitement you have.
I'm just going to go to Twitter. Meg Fenway, she's patiently awaiting. She's complaining about having to wait till 7:30 for this game, but is glad that she's not screaming at work. So that last game, everyone's ready for that game, of course. But yes, please comment on Twitter, hashtag BOTAS 2019. We'd love to hear from you.
It's a love of the game sort of situation. Everybody's here not to bump up.
And it looks like we're almost ready to get back in business.
Yeah,
oh, maybe not. Now official review is coming.
So that was actually pretty smart by the Kansas coach there to kind of wait to see what they were deciding, see what he wanted to hear, didn't hear what he wanted to hear, so might as well take that official review right now. Might help stop that Vermont momentum that they've been gaining in this last few minutes. Wow, while we have another timeout, we'll give this timeout is brought to you by 888. Derby isn't your typical sport. It's more like a carefully choreographed mosh pit on wheels. That's why we make protective gear specifically designed for those who lay it all on the track. We cover heads, elbows, wrists, knees, hips, and yes, even butts. Because being Derby ready is one thing, but being Derby dominant is another. Check them out at their website, 888.com. As well as on Instagram. Now, that was a little freaky.
That was a freaky. You need to say drinks, hashtag drinks to the house announcers from the stream announcers because they were reading at the exact same time. I don't know if you heard that at home, but that was crazy. It was like an echo.
I didn't notice it until I was about halfway through the read, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just keep going. Again, we want to thank everyone that all the volunteers that we have here today. We don't have time to list them all, but there are a ton of them, and without them, none of this would be able to be possible, both skating and non-skating. Volunteers to run the door, just everything that they do makes this sport what it is.
Oh yeah, we love the home league. Who are they? We love them. It's on here.
Bucksmont Roller Derby.
Thank you. Yes, we just are so happy to have them. This venue's great.
Yep. So we're still waiting to figure out what the official call was. So I think they're just trying to square away what exactly the calls were here. But meanwhile, this has been a wonderful morning of roller derby, moved into the afternoon as we are in Game 5. Let's go over some of the scores from earlier in the day. Game 4 saw California beat Louisiana 187-56. Game 3 saw Tennessee take Kentucky 177-72. Game 2, Montana beats Ohio 122-75. And Game 1 of the morning, Louisiana wins 273-131 over Saskatchewan.
So all that discussion was there is some issue with James Bond's penalties. They thought she had 3, and they've got rid of 1. So now she's going to set up for 2 penalties, which will be a full minute, up to a full minute, unless the Vermont Jammer goes to the penalty box.
This could be a huge opportunity for the Vermont team here. A full 2 minutes of power jam. They're going to send out their number 1 jammer of the day, Sable, as she gets through as the lead just as she passes around turn 2.
And as we are in Jam 8, Vermont's doing good. They've had lead jam 3 of these 8 jams, so they're still in it. So James Bond is standing, so it was 2 penalties, so it would have been up to a minute. So she's standing. I think they took away 1, and she sat through most of 1 in that last jam.
Sable does a good job to stay in bounds on her toe stops there. She's going to get through for a scoring pass as Bond is back on the track.
James Bond is in the mix now.
Bond getting held up right there just past turn number 2, but look at sabotage. Oh, almost through. Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Good footwork.
Jammer defense. James Bond, look at that smile as well. Coming out of that pack, doing some damage and letting herself out as well. I love happy jammers. Oh, woo. Oh, and I like that dramatic call off. Sabotage the ball, calling it off. Going to her knees. It was almost like a disco move. Calls off the jam.
She's like, while I'm laying down, I might as well give it a call off here. That was a 9-3 scoring advantage in favor of Vermont. 120-65, just a minute past halfway done in this second half.
And 4-3 pack advantage for Kansas. Vermont taking the front of the pack at this moment. Bertha Blue Blaze is jamming again for Vermont. I believe it's Mary Payne.
Dizzy Astor, I do
believe.
Sorry. Yep, Dizzy Astor out there for Kansas.
Dizzy Astor is out first and is your lead jammer.
And now I see now she's wearing the C for Kansas today. So Bertha having a little bit of a tough time getting through. A good move on Gingivitis as she was able to get by on turn 1.
Dizzy Astor made that last pass look really easy, and she's already back around again. Look at that. She just takes that middle of that pack and gets right through. Well, almost. They reset in front of her, so she's going to try again. Again, taking that seam between the 2 blockers.
Good job by Cryptic Kablam to bridge that pack there so they can hold on to her a little bit longer.
Oh,
they do slow her down for about 15 seconds or so, but she gets through for another scoring pass.
She did have to work for that pass.
Bertha still yet to get through.
Yep, currently stashing the helmet cover. Dizzy getting caught up at the back of the pack, resetting at turn 3.
The same happens to Bertha as she's drawn back to the back stretch.
Oof.
Depositing a blocker to the infield.
Some big falls, and sometimes that's just kind of happening.
We do have a star pass for Vermont.
That's going to go to Gingivitis.
GV accepting the star a couple times so far this game. Dizzy through for 4 points.
And she's improved a lot in the last year or so as she has gotten a lot quicker on her skates, but that jam is over.
And she skated backwards, just taking her time, calling it off. 65-132. So 12-point jam for Dizzy on that last jam.
If Vermont wants to get back into this game, they're going to have to do it just about right now. Maybe use those timeouts, but Kansas, they get a couple lead jams, and that might just about do it for Kansas to take this game. There's Black Mama jamming for the Vermont All-Stars. And Mary Payne for Kansas.
Mary Payne has been declared the lead jammer. The winner of this game will play Massachusetts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Ooh, little spin at the back of the pack by Mary Payne, but she is back up and in it.
She hasn't jammed much tonight, but she's done well.
Getting caught up. She's resetting to the back. Good defensive work by Vermont at the back of the pack. Oh, just as I say that, Mary Payne says, no, be quiet, Muffin. I'm through. I'm through for 4 more points.
Curb stomp and Gessecutioner left up in front for the Vermont pack. And they're going to have to let her go through. But they're going to... She looked like he initially gave her a penalty, but did not call it.
Cryptic Kablam currently holding the star in her helmet. So almost a full completed star pass, but not until she puts that on her head. And there it is. She is now the jammer of record for Vermont. This is the first time she's accepted the star or worn the star of this game.
Mary Payne trying to get through, but the wall of Pumpkin Carver is there and stops her momentarily. And then she goes down. Looks like Gessecutioner to the penalty box. I think that's like number 4 for her in this half. And just as the whistle blows, curb stomp is released from the penalty box.
144 to 65. Kansas held a 0 for 3 jams in a row. And we have 12 more. That's 2 12-point jams in a row for Kansas.
Sable taking to the track once more for Vermont. Say Triple B out there for the second
So we will have 3 blockers from each team for this next jam. 4.5 minutes left for this game.
Flutter Rage leading the blocking crew for Vermont as quickly Sable is going through. She falls down, but she still is declared lead. Meanwhile, Triple B is through. But right on her tail is Triple B as she is just sped up quick.
Yeah, Sabotage made that look good. Very, very graceful. Woo! And there she goes, hopping in. She's
apex jump. Looked like she might have landed it clean.
It looked inbounds from here, but she's playing safety first. She's going to reset. Only has to get around as the Vermont skaters, I mean, the Kansas skaters kind of spread out. They did find each other at turn number 1 as the jam is called.
So Vermont's going to pick up 2.
Picking up 3 of the 4, looks like.
But Kansas picks up 5 on that jam. Advantage to Kansas, even though they did not have the lead. Sorry, 4. Whew. I think we're also getting used to not having that extra point called when the jammer's been held. We'll get used to it. Eventually.
As I wave my fist in the air. Anyway, no, I love it. I love our rules.
No, I think it's a great move for Derby. I think it helps with the competitiveness.
Oh, yes.
So we have an official timeout here. We'll take one as well. This timeout brought to you by 187 Killer Pads. They've been designing and constructing pads for top professional athletes for the past decade. Started by a longtime skater in a family-owned upholstery shop, 187 Killer Pads has since become the preferred choice of skaters worldwide with its visionary designs and revolutionary systems. 187 Pads continues to lead the way in raising industry standards and making protective gear better. Follow them on Instagram and on the web at 187killerpads.com.
So just as we were discussing that 5 points, 1 point was taken away from that last jam from Triple B, so she only made 4. So I don't know what happened, but it was 5. It's really 4 points from that last jam. So 148 to 67.
You've been doing this for 6 years, and every year you take care of us. Thank you so much for watching.
Say hi to Chad. Okay. I think she was really taking a picture of Chad, but I'll always take a picture. Okay, so it looks like when we do start up again, it's going to be James Bond in white for Kansas. And we have a 4-3 pack advantage.
So our head ref pulling our coaches in and our captains to kind of give them a talk about what's kind of happening here, why they got together.
So as this timeout continues, I want to tell you, make sure you check out BOTAS on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date. We are also on Twitter with hashtag BOTAS2019, BOTAS 2019. You can also search Battle of the All-Stars.
What's the situation, my man?
Discussion still kind of continues here, but
There was deemed to be I don't know if they said necessarily.
looks like the decision there is going to end up being sending Snatch McCracken, to the penalty box, but they both have pivots on.
Oh. Oh. See, you were counting her penalties. You're right. So she just got ejected for having 5 penalties. So we had a pivot switch. But Snatch McCracken and Clitterbomb need to be in the same pack. Who else we got?
So that was Flutter Rage that gets the boot here, the first of the game here. We're still not too bad. There's 3 minutes left in this game.
And next up, don't go anywhere. The next game is going to be Maryland versus Tennessee. So Maryland basically had a bye until now. So at 4:30 p.m., they come in as number 7. I believe the first 8 teams technically got a bye, but they really still skate today. So is it really a bye?
I think the advantage they get is just they only have to skate once today, and
Right.
they have to face that other 2.
Yeah.
So that's not always an advantage, but it could be, as James Bond goes through and gets the lead jam for Kansas. Number 528 Ginger V out for her initial pass.
Ooh, a quick hit it and quit it. 4 quick points for James Bond as she calls off the jam. Ginger Vitus actually taking the star at the beginning of the jam instead of as pivots. So 67 to 152.
I don't know if that had to do with strategy or just because the Vermont jammer was coming through, but Snatch McCratchen's still in the penalty box with that pivot on. She is standing, but it might give that slight little advantage to start this jam. Triple B on the line for Kansas. Sabotage Sable out there for Vermont. Black Mamba tried to block her there, but it was not able to. Sable up, and she finds the hole in the middle. Good job for her as she gets through on her initial pass.
Triple B already threw the pack on her first scoring pass as lead jammer for Kansas. Just really sliced through those blockers as if it was wide open. Anyway, the jam is called. 4 more points. Oh, actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Triple B's been injected into the jammer rotation.
Well, it shows 156 for Vermont.
156.67 here.
67.
We'll definitely get 1 more jam here, maybe 2, depending on how long this next jam goes. Of course, there is running time in that 30 seconds between jams. Can kind of determine how that's going to go.
And Vermont fielding a pivot just in the nick of time.
No Class Last gets through as the lead jammer for Kansas. Jamming for Vermont is Bertha Blue Blazes. She is through as well on her initial pass.
And that whistle ends the jam.
Vermont shut down again. But 3 more points. 3 more points for Kansas, taking them to 159.
I don't know if it's part of their strategy or not, but to get these hit it and quit it points, cause that extra 30 seconds in between the jams, makes that time go really quick and doesn't give the other team a chance to get any momentum going and get back into it.
Yeah, good job of running the clock. It's curb stop jamming again. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Triple B is jamming for Kansas, but gets sent to the penalty box. Was it a back block I saw there?
I did not see the infraction, but it is the 4th power jam this half for Vermont.
Ooh. Clitterbomb just absolutely hammered curb stomp and sent her out of bounds. And curb stomp trying to finally get through, and does as the lead jammer. James Bond blocking out there today. You can see hear our announcers overhearing them. This is the All Jammer pack for Kansas.
Oh, that is a tradition that was started by Massachusetts. For the last jam, you send out all jammers. And look, it's true. It ends up being really fast. And how exciting. And I have my cane out again, but I remember Fast Derby.
Curb Stomp is through, picks up 4 points, and she's going to call that right there. So we'll wait before we announce the official score. But wow, that was a well-executed game by Kansas.
Yeah.
Looked like they might have been in some trouble in the end of that beginning part of that second half with jammer penalties and Vermont kind of coming back, but didn't quite get there for Vermont.
Yep, and that is officially our second upset. I won't say official final score, but officially our second upset of this tournament. So we will have another all-jammer game as the winner of this game will play Massachusetts at 7:30.
And it looks like our score is official now, 159-71. Kansas with the 159 over the 71 for Vermont. So